So who doesn't want their space to feel cozier? I've got my mug of tea all ready to go, and today we're going to talk cozy. What is cozy? The definition of cozy is giving a feeling of comfort, warmth, and relaxation. So I don't know where you are watching this from, but here in North America, I'm in Southern Ontario, and we are coming up to our cold season in the winter. It is currently October if you're watching this now. And now's the time of year where we start to think about how can we make our space feel cozy. So today I want to talk about 6 ways that I think you can help your space feel cozier. Now, I think that these rules will also apply in the warmer months because being cozy doesn't just have to mean in the winter. You can still have a warmer climate and still want your space to feel cozy. So take these into consideration regardless if you're in a warm or cold climate. Either way, we just want a space that's warm, relaxing, and inviting. Most of us would think about things like scented candles, dim the lights, throw on a blanket, and your home is cozy. But I have 6 ways that we can incorporate coziness into our space all year round, but layer it on to make it even more cozy. So tip number 1 is with your lighting. So this could mean many different ways of lighting your room. It could be your whole house or just one room, even your outdoor space. I think lighting is one of the key components of feeling cozy. So we want to look at having a lot of task lighting or spotlight, like small areas of light. The last thing you want to do is have harsh overhead fluorescent lights in your space. That is the opposite of being cozy. So we want to turn off the overhead lights. We want to have lots of lamps, downward facing wall sconces, floor lamps, table lamps, any kind of lamps where you can bring in a small amount of light into several spaces. So another thing obviously is candles. Candles will always bring that sense of warmth into a room, whether they're on your tables, off to the side. And because it contains a fire, which is probably one of the number one things we think of when being warm, is fire and the heat and the flame and the glow and the light of a fire. So also with fireplaces. So not just little candles, but you can also have a beautiful fireplace if you're lucky enough to have one in your space. Turn that fireplace on, and that automatically creates warmth. Now, one trick you can use if you don't have an actual fireplace is you can still turn on your television and use one of the fireplace channels that they have on Netflix or any of the other streaming services. I've used it many times. I know every day on Christmas, I usually turn on the fireplace channel, and I have that running all Christmas Day in my house because it gives a feeling of having the warmth of the fireplace, but I don't actually have a fireplace. And in addition to any of the indoor lighting, don't forget that sunlight is probably the number one way of warming up a room and a space. So if you have windows, bright windows, definitely utilize the available sunlight and open up those curtains, let the sunlight in, and enjoy the warmth of the actual real sunlight. Even in the middle of the winter, we don't always get a lot of sunlight, but whatever we can, open up the windows, bring that in, and the sunlight is going to also bring a lot of warmth to your room as well. Another form of lighting that I really love and can be useful in almost any space are string lights. Now you can get everything from the teeny little fairy lights to the bigger bulbs hanging on a string, and we've seen them used on patios and outdoor spaces, but you can definitely bring them inside. I've seen them used a lot in really fun bedrooms and just to the sides in family rooms and just little nooks and crannies. So be sure to incorporate a string light here and there in every room. It's going to really add a lot of really pretty ambiance to your space and really bring a nice warm glow, and make sure that when you get string lights that you have a warm light on there and not the cool bluish white color, which is good for outside at Christmas time, but I feel like if you want to bring it inside and use it in your room to warm it up, then use any kind of string lights that have a warmer light bulb on them. So for lighting, again, lamps, sconces, candles, fireplaces, string lights, and natural sunlight. Those are all great ways to use lighting to bring a warm and cozy feel into your room. Number 2 is neutral and natural finishes. So I really love to bring a lot of natural materials into a space. So if you're using things like stone in your walls or in your floors, or if you're using wood in your walls or floors, those are really nice ways to make your room feel warm. It absorbs more sound. It feels nice on your hands or your feet, depending if it's on your wall or on your floor. And I think it just brings a coziness into a space because it brings in more of a rustic, primitive, outdoor feel into your inside, which definitely brings a nice warmth and coziness to a space. You can use it in almost anywhere in your house, even in your kitchen, a nice stone wall in your kitchen, wood floors throughout your house, the stone wall of a fireplace, stone floors in your entranceway is also really beautiful, and just wood paneling. It can be painted, it can be left natural, but anywhere you can use wood or a stone, I think brings a beautiful sense of warmth and texture into your house. My dog. Can you stop clacking around? Go lay down on your bed. On your bed. Okay, the third way to bring some coziness into your space is through textiles. Now this one's usually a no-brainer. A lot of people know that if you bring some really beautiful and textural pillows and blankets onto your sofa or chairs or onto your bed, that's really gonna immediately give a sense of coziness because you can sink into these, you can wrap them around you. It's just something very textural that you can feel. It gives a sense of warmth and coziness and makes you want to relax in a space. But on top of pillows and blankets, we want to think about things like drapery on your window coverings, because any kind of textiles and fabric that you can bring into a room is going to have a sound dampening effect, and that in itself is going to make your room feel cozier. Because when you have a space that is full of hard surfaces and like glass and marble and just and blank walls, you're going to have a lot more sound bouncing around. And when you have that echoing of a loud, hard surface room, it doesn't feel cozy. So the whole key is to bring in more textiles into your space through your furnishings, drapery, pillows and blankets and rugs, which I'll speak about in a minute. And the more textiles and fabrics and soft furnishings that you can bring into a room, the cozier it's going to feel, because you're going to have a better sound quality, which just feels, it muffles more sounds, it doesn't bounce around, and it just makes it feel cozier just in itself. So on top of things like pillows, blankets, and drapery, having really beautiful bedding on your bed, as luxurious bedding, thick down comforters, a comfy mattress to sleep on, just making your bed the most comfortable, cozy spot for you to curl up in when you go to bed at night is going to feel so luxurious and cozy, and it's going to be a space that during colder months you're not going to want to leave. So do invest in beautiful bedding. Bring in some things that are softer, fluffier, luxurious, and layer them on. Add some pillows, add some blankets, add the duvet, and that's a great way to add warmth and coziness into your bedroom. You can also add, like I mentioned before, soft furnishings. So in addition to your sofa and your chairs in your living rooms or even in your bedrooms, you can add things like fabric poofs or ottomans, which is a great way to bring in extra seating, but it also adds some extra textures and fabrics that you can layer into a room. So you can incorporate those into almost any space. So a recap on the textiles: you want to add pillows and blankets, you want to add drapery, beautiful bedding, poofs and soft furnishings, The fourth way that we can add coziness into your space, which I kind of touched on under textiles, was rugs. So every room can benefit from a rug. So if you have hardwood floors throughout your house, we know that it can sound echoey and loud. And so especially in the spaces where we like to gather and relax, you want to bring in some rugs. Area rugs are a great way to just add color, texture, and warmth to a space and really kind of confine where that space is. So you can also layer rugs. You can have one or two or even three rugs layered on top of each other just to give it some interest and some texture, because maybe you find a rug that you really love for a space. It's the color that you really like, but it's not quite big enough. You can layer that over a larger, cheaper, basic rug, and it kind of gives a lovely effect with the layers, but also you still have that color or the style that you like, and it's still going to work in your room if you layer something larger underneath it. But then don't forget, you can still layer in small ones. Like I have a little faux sheepskin rug beside my bed, because the nicest thing to wake up to in the morning is when you get out of bed is to put your feet on the ground and to step on something that's really cozy and feels really nice under your feet. So I love having that little sheepskin rug or something furry. When I first step down on the floor in the morning, it just gives you that sense of coziness as well. And these little sheepskin rugs, whether they're faux or whether they're real, it depends what you want to use. They're great to add in a lot of different places. Add them to little areas in your living room, in your bathroom, in your bedroom. Throw a little sheepskin here or there. You can also throw them on chairs that aren't that comfortable or maybe are a harder surface. Throw a little sheepskin rug on top of it and it makes it really cozy. So anywhere where you have a hard surface, where you are standing in your bare feet or just in socks, then it's nice to have small little rugs to keep your feet cozy, whether it's in the kitchen, in the bathroom, in the bedroom, in the living room, even in the front hallway where you're taking off your shoes or putting your shoes on. It's nice to have a rug. Instead of standing on the cold floor, then layer a little rug on there for instant hit of warmth and of texture into any space. All right, the fifth way that I think we can add warmth and coziness into a space is with the color green. I know that kind of sounds like a very broad topic, but the ways that I can see bringing green into a room, I just think green is a super warm and cozy color. It's really the basic color of nature, and by bringing nature in, we're automatically going to feel a sense of relaxation and warmth and coziness. So whether it's painting a wall green, you can do anything from a light sage to a dark rich forest or army or moss green. It's one of my favorite colors in the entire world. I love green, and it just really warms up a space. So if you don't want to paint a wall, you could also bring in that color into your furniture with, say, in your sofa. A green velvet has to be one of the most cozy and inviting fabrics in the world to me. Like, I would love to have a green velvet sofa at some point. That just is something that whenever I see them, I just want to go and snuggle up on them. But if you don't want to paint your walls green, you don't want to take that big of a step, then look at maybe bringing in some green furniture. Maybe it's just a chair, maybe it's a carpet, or if you don't want to go with a big sofa, just find little ways to bring furniture in. It could be furniture like wood, old furniture that you've upcycled and you've painted green. Another bold way to use green is in your kitchen cupboards, whether you do all of your cabinetry in a nice dark green or mid-tone green or even a sage green, any shade of green in your kitchen. I mean, I love a white kitchen, but I also love a moody kitchen. And so you could mix white with a dark green. Maybe you do your island in the dark green and the rest of your cabinetry in a white or an off-white. I think that would be beautiful. It's also really nice mixed with any shade of gray, any shade of beige or cream. You can mix it with black. It really does lend itself to almost any color palette. So think about different ways where in your house where you can use green, and then Of course, the easiest way to bring green is with plants. So most of us have plants, whether they're real or whether they're fake. I know we don't all have a green thumb, but there's a lot of really beautiful faux greenery that they're making now that from far away or even close up, you can't actually tell that they're fake unless you're touching them. So if you have a tendency to kill plants, by all means bring in some fake plants. They are necessary in every single room of your house, in your living room, bedroom, your bathroom, your kitchen, your front entranceway. If you have the space, bring in a fake tree or a real tree. If you can do a real tree, absolutely do a real tree, but if you can't, do a fake one. But invest in a really good quality one that looks good, because it will last you forever. So put the money into it. The last thing you want is to have a sad fake plant in your house that people kind of glance at and think, why do they have this crazy looking plant? Anyway, but a plant, you should have at least one plant in every room, and that right there is going to bring a coziness, because you're bringing nature into your space, and automatically it's going to bring in warmth and a sense of relaxation. Real is better, but fake is fine too. So figure out where you can use green in your house, whether it's with paint color, with furniture, in your kitchen, or in textiles, or maybe you can just bring some plants in. But there's always a way to bring green into every room, and I highly recommend that you explore some of the ways that you could bring green into your space. All right, number 6, the last way that I'd recommend you bring a cozy factor into your space is, of course, with using vintage in your decor. You know, I love using vintage, and I think that bringing vintage into your space is just a beautiful way to add that coziness. Vintage brings warmth, character, personality, and a patina to the space that you can't get with brand new things. So I always encourage people to go out and get some of those vintage pieces, add them in, mix them into your decor with your new stuff, and it will just take the edge off that sharp newness and bring in a coziness and a warmth that you're after. It also brings a connection to the past and maybe our ancestors, our family, which is also just going to make us feel warm and cozy inside as well. And so you can't go wrong bringing vintage into your home. So that's my 6th tip for you. So just a recap for you today of the 6 ways that you can make your home more cozy and warm and inviting and comfortable is with lighting, with natural finishes, with textiles, rugs, bringing the color green in, and also using vintage. So I hope that those tips give you a little inspiration of how maybe you can make a few little changes to your space and make it a little more cozy and comfy for the coming up season. And I hope that helps you out, and let me know what of these things that you end up trying in your home. So that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to give it a like and a subscribe if you love the content and the videos, and we'll see you next time on Wildish Living. Take care, guys. Bye.